In this meditation we will work with the sensation in our hands. First you adjust your posture again, neither too tight nor too sloppy. You take a few moments to reconnect with your inner life. How is it for you to be here right now? And with the in-breath, welcoming your experience, embracing your experience. So a shift from the head into the body. Allowing appreciating the stillness which arises when we sit quietly together in the spirit of compassion, protected by the teachings of the Buddha. There's nothing to do for you now, nothing to understand. You can't do this right or wrong. Just being here, not knowing where here is. Then I invite you with the next in-breath to slide down your arm into your hands, into your hand, into your right hand. So we take one hand. And you become aware of the sensations in your hand, in the palm of your hand. This might be quite subtle, but whatever is there, that's good enough. So you can also have a bit of breathing awareness in the background, as if you are breathing into the hand or through the hand. And you bring that to the foreground. The sensations in your hands, in your hand. So here the meditation object is not the mental image of the hand. So if you're still like holding the mental image, try to let go of that and feel into the hand. Really feel the sensations, the flow of energy, what is also called prana or chi. there's a strong sense that you are sitting up in your head, looking down upon your hand, see if you can relax that hallucination. And feel the sensations where they are, from inside. So stay. If you notice that you tense up in the face or in the belly, you soften. This is not concentration, it's more a falling in love. So now we focus out, and then I invite you to include the other hand as well. So be aware of the two hands. With a bit of breathing awareness, if that helps you to stabilize. As if you're breathing through the hands or into the hands. And again, the mental image is not the object. See if you can let go of that, or at least make it dissolve a bit. And stay with the sensation in both of your hands. So if you don't use the mental image, can you distinguish the two hands? Can you find the boundaries between the two hands? Not using a mental image. Feeling the hands from inside, not from above. Stay. So there's the sensation in your hands. They change, they move, they unflow. Quite subtle. But isn't there also space? Isn't there also presence? Isn't there also the knowing of the sensations? Isn't there also stillness? Go beneath, beyond the sensations to experience stillness. Go beneath, beyond the sensations to experience peace. There is the sensations, changing, moving, and then there is that which knows, which is not changing, moving. Go beneath, beyond. So you can mainly focus on the sensations, but then make a step backward into the space beyond, beneath. Into stillness. It's a bit like shifting from the waves in the ocean to the stillness of the depth of the ocean. Deeper. Rest. If you get distracted, go back to the sensations. Go back, step back into the unmoving mind. Vast, transparent, awake, boundaryless, centerless, in the nature of love, non-judgmental, clear, open, undescribable, ungraspable, transpersonal, timeless, infinite, eternal, connected, including everything, the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita, empty. Neither nothing nor something. Ownerless, rest. An ocean of calm, peace, shanti, shanti. Stabilize with the breath and the sensation. Then let go of yourself, forget yourself. You're not important. You're almost dead. Rest in that which remains when you die. It doesn't want anything, it doesn't need anything. It's perfect, pure, whole, complete. That's where we meet from heart to heart. Effortless. You can't change it, you can't affect it. It's nothing. And it is everything. Rest in natural peace. It knows, knowingness, pure consciousness, luminous, awake, presence, essence love. The presence of God. The Lama. The beloved. You can't get closer to it, you can't lose it, you can't get it. You are already it. You don't need to earn it. You can't pay for it. It's the end of seeking, the end of all projects, the end of self-improvement. The answer of all your questions. You are that. Rest in natural peace, this exhausted mind. Just rest and let go, you are safe. Nothing can destroy it, nothing can even touch it. space-like. Yet warm, vibrant, intelligent. The Great Mother. Are there any questions, comments? Yes.
What is the skillful way of dealing with the fear that you mentioned that can arise when we do these kinds of practices?
This fear is a good sign, something to rejoice. Both fear and relief and happiness. But fear, I think it's unavoidable to have experiences of fear. In a way, it's going through the death process. And this is actually what you're going through in the death process. Everything what you think you are will be taken away from you. And here in that kind of meditation you choose to allow that to happen. Of course, if possible, what is aware of the fear? That which is aware of the fear is not afraid. So fears that is a conditioned phenomena which arises within the space which knows all. If that is not possible, mindfulness practice of fear. Embracing the fear, being with the fear. As a serious spiritual practitioner, we need to get to know fear and make friend with it and befriend it and lose the fear of the fear. So that would be also in daily life, fear from the worries, or to explore, to be with it, and to increase your toolbox of handling, bringing compassion into it, self-compassion, tonglen. So these are all. So this is what I said. It's important that we have a toolkit, of different practices to work with the content of our experience. So you set that in place, and then you work with. But if possible, then what is aware of the fear? Or who is afraid? Who is afraid? So, and then I gave a lot of talks about provisional toolkit to work with fear. So it's just like, and then you have to choose what makes sense for you. But definitely it's not about getting rid of fear or overcoming fear. As long as we are in this biological body, we will have fear. It's about being with that and accepting that and being able to recognize fear as one of the vibrations which we then label fear, but it is a vibration. And so if you strip away the word fear, then and to learn to accept that and be with that, enjoy it almost, use it like an actor who can use stage fright by bringing that energy into the performance. I do that all the time when I sit here. There's two energy sources here, fear and eros. And if none of that is here, it gets so boring for you. Is there something else? No. There's a bit of time left. Yes.
You mentioned earlier a gap.
Mm-hmm.
A gap in the conscious thinking, a gap in the cognitive mind.
In a conceptual thinking, yes.
Does this happen when we sneeze, for example?
Yeah.
Yes.
It happens.
Really
Yes.
tiny.
It happens in our life, in sneezing, yawning, and orgasm. So that's why, that's like what we actually, that's where the yearning for orgasm comes from. It is actually a spiritual experience. So the French called it the petite mort, the small death. So in the Tibetan tradition, that is actually also used as a method to pointing out. Stay away from that kind of methods, but it's only for the very brave and people who want to get into the messy field. But yes, so in the longing for orgasm is actually the longing for awakening. Yeah. That's where the gap opens. Mm. It can be also in shock, sometimes. Mm-hmm. But like that's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can it be also in a breathing exercise?
It can happen with everything. So it can be with listening to music in the breathing exercise. So if you emphasize the gap, then what you would do is you would bring your attention into the out-breath, but then particularly into that moment when the out-breath stops. And then in the in-breath you would just space out. And then in the out-breath, so you bring your attention, you bring your awareness back and you kind of go with the out-breath into the gap. And that's, and then you soak in that moment, and then with the in breath again you just and then with the out breath you bring your attention back. So the experience with which you work, the sense channel, it doesn't matter. So this is like so wonderful to have a practice where it doesn't matter how you feel. You can be a complete mess. That does not disqualify you from doing this meditation. Yeah. In fact, quite often, when I talk with people who are in a complete mess, because they have, they kind of gave up the hope that this can be fixed, which it can't. This cannot be fixed. So, and then if there's a kind of hopelessness, if it does not go into like a depression, but it's just like giving up. Yeah. So then sometimes someone who is in the mess is closer to awakening than the master meditator who has a really calm mind and is really focused and has really everything under control. Yeah. And it's also so it's like independent. It does not depend on the amount of years you have been meditating or practicing yoga or something. Quite often it's actually the beginner, someone who has never ever done any kind of inner work and stuff like this. And sometimes they are much more suitable for actually receiving the pointing out instruction. Whereas the expert is kind of, how do you shake the expert? How do you shake the expert out of knowing? A beginner is much more relaxed with not knowing. Yeah. And of course that's very frustrating, like if you do a retreat, after 30 years of sitting, and then there's one sitting close to you, and and maybe even like the master kind of confirms the pointing out instruction, yeah. And then you ask, "Oh, wow! How long have you been meditating? 2 hours?" The 30 years of meditating is not a waste of time, obviously. There was something here? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so basically what you're saying is that this practice transcends things like shamatha or vipassana. It's not necessarily required to, it seems like it could help in facilitating that shift.
Yeah, there's a debate about this.
And
a very ancient debate, since 6,000 years. And people have different opinion about this.
Okay.
I keep on asking this question, but I get different answers.
Mm-hmm.
So I do both.
To be on the safe side.
Yeah, to be on the safe side. So, and of course it makes sense in the traditions, also in the Dzogchen tradition, where this is transmitted most purely within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. They also have all this kind of stuff you do on the graduate path model. So there seems to be some connection there between all the stuff and this.
Mm.
Yeah. But all the stuff can be also a huge obstacle. So it's like if you do all the stuff, bring as much as understanding of emptiness into all the stuff. The one walking is empty, the method is empty, the path is empty, the results are empty, and the Buddha is empty. Nothing ever happens. And then you do the stuff.
So really they complement each other.
If it's going well. If it's going well, they contemplate each other. If your spiritual practice is just building up more sense of knowing and more sense of who you are, then that's like spiritual materialism, it's called. then it is an obstacle. But on the other hand, we don't need to worry, because the only thing which is real is this. Everything is unreal. The only thing which is real is this. Everything is unreal. It will not win. It will not prevail. So in the end, this will win, because it's the only thing which is real. So we don't need to worry about each other being stuck or something like this, being ignorant and doing things wrong and becoming fundamentalists. In the end, this will prevail. Love will prevail. Essence love. Not romantic love, essence love. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To be continued. See you in 2 weeks maybe, if you didn't get it.